Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Jisha J S. I am final year student of LLM, pursuing LLM from Government Law College, Trivandrum. Today, we are going to discuss the topic Uniform Civil Code. Uniform Civil Code means that all sections of a society, irrespective of their religion, shall be treated equally according to the National Civil Code, which shall be applicable to all uniformly. They cover the areas like marriage, divorce, maintenance, inheritance, adoption, and succession of the property. It is based on the premises that there is no connection between religion and law in modern civilization. Uniform Civil Code resonate with one country, one rule to be applicable to all religious communities. The term Uniform Civil Code explicitly mentioned in Part 4, Article 44 of the Indian Constitution. Article 44 says that the state shall enter to secure for the citizen a uniform civil code throughout the territory of India. Can you please change the slide? Next, we can see the origin of Uniform Civil Code. The origin of Uniform Civil Code dated back to the colonial India. Prior to the British rule, under the East India Company, they tried to reform local social and religious customs by imposing Western ideology on India. The Lex Loxi report of October 1840s emphasized the importance and the necessity of uniformity in codification of Indian law relating to crime, evidence, contract, but it recommended that the personal laws of Hindus and Muslims should be kept out of such codification. This separation of Hindu and Muslim before law was part of divide and rule policy of British Empire that allowed them to break the unity among the different community and
During the post-colonial period, Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of Republic India, and his supporters and women members of Parliament wanted to implement Uniform Civil Code. As Law Minister, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was in charge of presenting a detail of this bill. He supported the Uniform Civil Code. According to him, only through the implementation of Uniform Civil Code, we can reform the Hindu society as well as to ensure protection to Muslim women who were little protection under Sharia law. He has faced several criticisms from the opposition, but Nehru, he later supported he strongly supported Dr. B.R. Ambedkar for reforming and demanding a uniform civil code. Although at that time the uniform civil code was not introduced, but a Hindu bill was introduced to ensure modern reforms in Hindu society. Thus, lesser version of this bill was passed in the parliament in 1956 in the form of 4 separate acts. They are Hindu Marriage Act, Succession Act, Minority and Guardianship Act, Adoption and Maintenance Act. This diluted the version supported by Jawaharlal Nehru, where in contrary to the implementation of Uniform Civil Code in Article 44 of the Directive Principles of State Policy in our Constitution. Later years, it was proved that the Hindu Code Bill failed to control the prevalent gender disparities. The law of divorce was framed given both parties equal voice, but the majority of its implementation involved those initiated by the men. Since this act applied only to Hindu, women from the other community remain subjugate, and particularly the women who are following the Sharia law were forced to follow the Muslim personal laws in India. The Nehru accepted that the bill was not complete and perfect, but he felt that it was an outstanding achievement for his time. Thus, he supported for Uniform Civil Code was not implemented, but Uniform Civil Code was added as a part of the directive principles of Constitution. Later, in the year 1954, the Special Marriage Act was formed, which provide a form of civil marriage to any citizen, irrespective of their religion, thus permitted to marry any Indian outside the regime of their specific religious personal laws. Next, we can see what What will a uniform civil code do? Uniform Civil Code aim to provide protection to vulnerable section as envisaged by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, including women and religious minority. It also promotes the nationalistic favor through unity. If the code is enacted, it will simplify the complex laws around the marriage ceremony, inheritance, succession, adoption, made them one for all. The same civil law will then applicable to all citizens irrespective of their religion faith. Now we can see some of the pros of Uniform Civil Code. First one, it will integrate India. Next one, it help to reduce the vote bank politics. Third one, it promote the gender disparities. Fourth one, it accommodate the aspiration of the young population. It is a sign of modern progressive nation. If it is implemented, it will act as a bypass to the issues reform existing personal laws. To provide equal status, it means Uniform Civil Code will provide equal status to all citizens. In modern era, secular democratic republic should have a common civil and personal laws for its citizens, irrespective of their religion, class, caste, gender, etc. Next one, it promote gender parities. It is commonly observed that personal laws are almost all religion are discriminatory towards women. Men are usually granted upper privilege or considered as the upper or given a upper status in the matters of succession and inheritance. Uniform Civil Code will bring both men and women at a par. Next I told it will be accommodate the aspirations of the young population. The contemporary India is totally a new society with a 55 percentage of population as below 25 years of age. Their social attitude and aspirations are sharped by the universal and global principles of equality, harmony, and modernity. Thus, their view of identity on the basis of the religion has given a serious consideration as it is utilize their full potential towards the national building. Next, it will support the national integrity. In India, all Indian citizens are already equal before court of law, as the criminal law and other civil law, except the personal laws, are the same of all. With the implementation of Uniform Civil Code, all citizens share the same set of personal laws. There will be no scope for politicalization of issues or discrimination or any type of disparities. Next, we can see some of the cons of Uniform Civil Code. First one, practically difficult due to the diversity in India. It is practically, though, to come out with a common and uniform set of rules. The personal issues like a marriage due to tremendous cultural diversity in India across the religion, set caste, state, etc. Next one, perception of UGC as encroaching the religious freedom. Many communities, particularly the minority community, presents Uniform Civil Code as it is Uniform Civil Code is encroaching into their religious rights. They fear that the common code will neglect their tradition and impose rules which will mainly dictated and influenced by the majority religious community. Another con is that it interferes the state in personal matters. The Constitution provides for the right to freedom of religion of one choice. With the codification of uniform rules and its compulsion, the scope of the freedom of religion will be reduced. Next one is sensitive and a tough task. As we all know, India is a diverse nation and it follows many culture, many religion, etc. So it will be difficult for implementing Uniform Civil Code in our society. Next one, time is not yet to satisfy for the reforms. Considering the majority opposition from the Muslim community in India over the issue overlapping with the controversies over beef, saffronization of colleges and schools curriculum, love jihad, and the silent emanating from the top leaders of these controversies. These all will give. This all shows that we are not in a position to implement uniform civil code in our India. Next, we can see some of the case laws relating to uniform civil code. First one is Ms. Jordan Diane versus S.S. Chopra. In this case, the Supreme Court held that a beginning has to be made if the constitution is to have a meaning. Next one, in Sarala Mudgal versus Union of India, also the court has taken a step for or ordered the government to implement uniform civil code in our nation. Next, recently in not recently, and in Muhammad Ahmad Khan versus Shahbanu Begum, in this case also, the court held that divorced Muslim woman is entitled to claim maintenance under 125 of CRPC. It is a general provision and it is applicable to all irrespective of their religion. All this shows that the Supreme Court from time to time it showed some initiative for implementing uniform civil code. Next, we can see some of the suggestions regarding uniform civil code. First one, a progressive and a broad-minded outlook is needed among the people to understand the spirit of such a code. If we don't have a broad-minded or a progressive thinking, then it will be impossible for us to understand or admit those uniform civil code. For this, education, awareness, and sensitization programs must be taken. The next one is uniform civil code should act in the best interest of all religion. The third one, a community of eminent jurists should be considered to maintain the uniformity, and care must be taken not to hurt the sentiments of any particular community. It should give equal importance to all religion while imposing the uniform civil code. The matter begin in the sensitive in nature. It always need a better. It is always better if the initiative comes from the religious groups. Then the main problem is created by the religious group. If it is if the initiative for the implementation of uniform civil code is taken by the religious group, then it will be a relief and it will work in a proper manner. Next, we can see some of the multiple choice questions. First question is, which article of the Indian Constitution direct the state to provide uniform civil code throughout the Indian territory? As I told earlier, Article 44 is the Article 44, which says the implementation of uniform civil code in our country. The next one is, instant triple talaq is now unconstitutional due to which case? That is Shahbanu Begum's case. That is the option B. Next, we can see the next question is, the uniform civil code which has recommended in the directive principles is to ensure which of the following? The option is national integrity. The second option is protection of the life and personal liberty, and third one is promoting the right of minority, and fourth one is establish a welfare state. The uniform civil code is included or recommended in the directive principles of state policy for ensuring the national integrity. National integrity is the answer. The uniform civil code called for the formulation of one law for India, which would be applicable to all religious community in matters such as divorce, marriage, adoption, and inheritance. It will ensure national integrity among the citizens. That's all. Thank you.
അങ്ങനെ നോക്കുമ്പോൾ നമുക്കിത് മനസ്സിലാവും. See, 80 Article 80 is what about the composition of the council of composition of the